And turning now to Storm Watch 12 meteorologist Josh Colbert this morning. In terms of weather, what do we have going on today? Are we seeing any signs that we're going to be a little bit more seasonal than we have been the last week or so?
Models are starting to hint at a more substantial cool down in the next week, still above average, but we got to take what we can get at this stage in the ball game. And it's been a pretty disappointing ball game, if I do say so myself. All right, this morning in Wairika, things are feeling pretty good, a little bit on the chillier side, 45 degrees. You can see a little bit of the haze, but it's always hard to tell around this time of the morning. 20s, 30s, and 40s over on the east side this morning, so I think a jacket is a must, especially in these areas that are flirting with freezing. 40s and 50s in our west side valleys, and that offshore flow there along the coast is keeping us a little bit warmer, 62 degrees there in Brookings. There is clearly one county that is the big loser this morning when it comes to air quality, and that would be Lake County. My goodness, all the smoke. You can see the trail coming from the origin of the Cedar Creek fire in Deschutes and Douglas and Lane counties, all of that filtering down to the southeast into portions of Lake County. So yesterday, when we were looking at the smoke model, it looked like a lot of that would filter into Klamath County, but that's why I always tell you, take the models with a grain of salt, because very little fluctuations within some of the data that it ingests can produce an entirely different outcome, and that's what we've seen. So this morning in Lake County, especially down towards Lakeview, just try not to go outdoors, and that doesn't just apply for those of you in sensitive groups. That is unhealthy across the board, so try to refrain from prolonged outdoor exposure. Here's your coatcast for today for the Rogue Valley, and we're going to go with the light jacket for this morning, but obviously later in the day no jacket will be needed. Still temperatures way above average for this time of the year, even with the cold front passing yesterday. So all of us are going to be about 5 to 10 degrees above average. Haze clearing throughout the day. Winds will be much lighter inland compared to yesterday, but we'll continue to have some pretty gusty winds coming out of the north along the coast, gusting all the way up to 30 miles per hour. Not much of a marine layer effect today, so we'll see plenty of sunshine, no real fog out there, no real substantial reductions in visibility this morning along the coast. So that's definitely some good news. And then overnight, we'll continue to go fogless along the coast. A few clouds inland, no clouds at all. It'll be quite chilly over on the east side with 30s and 40s, still a little bit above average for this time of the year. And we will be in the mid to upper 40s for west side valleys, 50s there along the southern Oregon coastline. Here's your car wash forecast over the next few days for the Rogue Valley. Green lights all 3 days. It's going to be hot, it's going to be dry, and it doesn't look like Mother Nature is going to give your car a wash anytime soon. But the signal is that we're starting to get a little bit cooler in the next week. So whenever the pattern starts to get cooler, sometimes that suggests that the pattern gets wetter as well. So stay tuned for that. Here's your 7-day forecast along the coast. This is the only zone in the 5 forecast zones that we forecast for that is showing any sort of precipitation over the next 7 days, and it's a slight chance of showers at that on Monday. But that coincides with the cool down that we're going to see for next week. So Siskiyou County could potentially dip down into the 70s for highs next week. That would be a nice change of pace. The same thing for the Klamath Basin, sunny and 75 for next Monday. And how about that? Even a few more clouds coming into the picture as well. So we just got to take what we can get. Up in the Cascades and Siskiyous, we'll stay consistently about 10 to 15 degrees above average for this time of the year until that cool down for next week. And then for the Rogue Valley, also tracking the same pattern. We'll have periods of haze all throughout the week, and until we get less hot and dry. The Cedar Creek fire will produce more smoke, but it does look like we'll get eventually a little cooler in the next week.
Okay, nice to see a temperature that starts with the 7 back on the board for next week. Hopefully it stays that way.
It's something to cheer about.
Yeah,
we're grasping at straws.
Right, at this point we'll take anything, but something to celebrate, something to look forward to.
Woo!
Yeah, have some more enthusiasm about that.
You're not going to get.
You can't right now.
No.
Okay, well, we'll see you next week. Thank you.
Of course.